Welcome to the Michele Roy Show.
Hello and welcome to another Michele Rose show. I have a beautiful guest that you will love on the show. So I'm joined by Hilary Rose. She's an award-winning Irish actor, speaker, podcast host whose work beautifully bridges performance, well-being, and conscious leadership. Hilary is best known for her role as Mairead McSweeney at The Young Offenders, and she spent over 2 decades working in high-pressure world of film, television, and theatre. But it's that very environment, the pace, the pressure, the constant demand of performance that led her to deeper inquiry about burnout, nervous system regulation, and what sustainable creativity really looks like. Alongside her acting career, Hilary lectured in acting for nearly a decade, where she saw firsthand how chronic stress and overaction were blocking confidence, expression, and performance. By introducing rest, breathwork, and somatic awareness into her teaching, she witnessed not only better performance, but more grounded, self-trusting humans. Hilary is also the host of the Live Wild podcast and a sought-after speaker known for her keynote, The Rest Reset. And at the heart of her work is a powerful reminder that rest is not weakness, wellness is not indulgent, and true resilience begins by listening to the body. Wow, Hilary, you're very welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Michele. It's a real pleasure to be here.
I was so grateful to be able to meet you there at the TEDx event, and I loved your talk. And I actually wanted to explore a little bit more about that. And let's start out where are you right now located, and where did you grow up?
So right now I'm in Cork in Ireland. This is pretty much kind of not where I was born, but pretty much where I grew up. So I see Cork as home, definitely. I've moved about a little bit in my youth, and then I spent a long time living in Dublin as a young actor, and then decided to come home.
Come on. Yeah. And your work with finding out for yourself, I wanted you, if you bring it back, when was the time in your own personal life that you felt that, okay, I have to stop, slow down, because the pressure is just driving me to burnout?
Yeah, I mean, I talk about it in the TEDx talk that you reference. I suppose it really happened after the birth of my second child, and I was back on set very, very quickly, and we did like an 80-day shoot, which was enormous for anyone in the full of their health. It was really, really enormous shoot. And yeah, I came back very quickly after that birth, but I didn't bounce back, So I really struggled through that shoot, and I really powered on. And by the end of it, I had herniated discs in my back, and I had really done a lot of damage to myself. And that was the end of 2019, I think. Yeah, the end of 2019. And that's when I stopped, because my body forced me to stop. My body literally put me on the ground and said, right, okay, you're not getting up now until you learn what you need to learn. I can say that now looking back.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my body forced me to slow down. And from there, that's 2019, that is almost 7 years ago. It was a very, very long journey. It's felt like, and I'm no doubt, like a lot of people went through similar things during the pandemic, where we were all kind of collectively asked to stop and look at our lives, and what are we doing to ourselves, and what's the meaning of this? So that's where it started for me. It was a really intense period of work that, in hindsight, I don't know how I did it. I just don't know how I did it. And my body just went, we're done here. You can't operate like that. So the following 7 years was an unraveling, I would call it, of probably at a very base level. The deeper I went, it was an unraveling of my nervous system on a very, very, very deep level. But you have to you can't do that all at once. You have to learn all of that through layers. And that's, I feel like, what I've been doing. And most of my life, subconsciously and unconsciously, was lending itself to that deep learning of the nervous system.
Mm. I suppose the industry that you're in with acting, well, it requires a lot, right? And I can imagine it's a very competitive place as well to be. Did you feel that you always had to push yourself to your limit, pretty much, to be able to stay in the game?
Yeah, looking back again, it's all nice, wisdom's learned through hindsight. But yeah, absolutely. I think it's competitive, it's high pressure. You have to work, you have to be able to function in high pressure environments. the work can be a bit scarce as well. So you're going from, high pressure working environment, long hours, and then you go to nothing. So it's kind of like this really, really swinging, very deep swinging pendulum of like fear, joy, fear, joy. And that's just the basis of being an actor anyway. But then when you step into characters, like I always say, your body doesn't really know the difference between your emotions and the character's emotions if you're fully stepping into them. So if you imagine every single scene has to have some form of conflict, that's what makes a storyline. So me as Hilary was putting myself in this position as an actor, dysregulating my nervous system and putting me into positions of conflict all the time for very, high intensity and prolonged levels. And that really showed up, after a while. Then that was something that I had to address. So I think as an actor, you really have to learn how to recognize your nervous system, learn how to regulate your nervous system and come back from that. It's not that you have to stop acting. It's just that it's a different way to approach it. And I think if you can approach it from a nervous system level, you can actually give a better performance as well, because you know that it's not going to take so much out of you. So when I lectured, I lectured on dramaturgy program here in Cork in MTU for almost a decade. And what I noticed with the students, you could have students who were absolutely amazing and really, budding actors that had super potential. And when they went to perform, their nervous systems were so shut down they couldn't perform. So I used to say, you can't show up if you're shut down. And it was a 2-hour class that I used to teach. And towards the end, for the first hour, I would teach them nervous system regulation. And then the second hour was about performance. And that I wanted to give them a toolbox as young actors to keep coming back to and to use, this toolbox of nervous system regulation and to recognize in the body. Because as an actor, you really are supposed to be in your body and present. And that stuff that's tricky. It's tricky to learn. It takes time.
Yeah, and you have to feel all the emotions, right? So as that character, you're saying you step into that character, whatever that character is going through, your body is going through that as well. And you have to actually assimilate that and then transpire that message so that we can see it over there. So it's like, I think we can take it for granted when we're watching a movie or watching soap opera or something like that. We're like, yeah, they're just acting. Like, no, they are
Yeah.
somebody completely different embodying
Yeah.
that. So it really does take a toll on your body.
It does. And I feel like as an audience member as well, if you've ever been moved by a performance or you've been moved by anything, you're being moved because they're emoting it. That's really interesting. And to have the capacity to hold these huge performances that move people, it's very, very tough on the nervous system.
Yeah. And it took for you to basically have your own body say enough is enough. So you could look back and see, well, how much my body did for me. And
Mm.
how was that accepting that, I can imagine would have been very difficult for you. I want to continue doing, I've done this so much, and why can't I just continue going? I know in my own journey, that's one of the problems I have is like, why body? Why are you not behaving? How was it for
Mm.
you? And how could you find the acceptance in between that journey to, okay, this is where I am right now, and it's okay to be not okay?
Absolutely. That's so well said. Um, yeah, it took time. It took time and it took practice and it took a lot of frustration. Like you said, I wanted to get back up straight away off the floor and just go again. And it actually took me, injuring myself in that manner a number of times over a 7-year period. I mean,
Okay.
I can't even count how many times I actually, did incurred the same injury again because I just kept on pushing. So now I listen and I rest very, very deeply. And that's what, part of this work is. And part of the talk is all about rest. And really, it's about fine tuning the body before you get to the point where you're going to injure yourself or whatever that dysregulation or exhaustion looks like for individuals.
Mm.
It's about fine tuning. But it's tough to accept. It's tough to accept. For a while, I was like, "Oh my God, am I getting old?" And yeah, that's part of it. I mean, but I would see it as wisdom rather than, just flat out getting old. And it's about looking at the root cause of it as well. That's a really interesting piece of work. Why did I push myself that hard? What's the driving force? What are the stories that I've been telling myself? What's the unconscious patterns that need to come to light and actually are being brought to light through these injuries and through
Mm,
this so it's a different level of awareness. And I personally think it's something that everybody goes through in their life. I don't think there's one person who will not go through something like this,
mm,
but in their own version. And it's asking for an expansion of your self-awareness and your consciousness about yourself so that you can show up and be a better person in the world. It's individuation really, isn't it?
it's also the real growth, isn't it? Because that growth and maturity can only happen when we connect with ourselves deeper. And for us to
Hmm.
connect ourselves deeper, we need to stop. We can't just go with
Yeah.
chickens without head, just keep going, keep going. So I think is for me, I find it that unraveling, the peeling back the layers, it's a hard work, but it's so
Mm.
worth it. Don't you feel
Oh,
that?
absolutely. There's no work that I would rather be doing. And I do think as well that we go through cycles of this work.
Mm.
And for me personally, I feel like I'm coming at the end of a cycle of a very, very deep, very all-consuming body of work, which was me. And I feel really blessed that I had the space and the resources to do it. And parts of it were so dark and so scary and so awful. And I thought I'd never get through it. But I've rewired myself from the top down. That's the way I feel now. And it's been so worth it. So anybody considering doing any of the deep work, if you're being called to it, like, yeah, I
Just
would
do
encourage everyone to,
it.
yeah, just do it. Yeah,
Just do
it's
it.
worth it.
And as a mom, how do you juggle now the time between your work, your commitments, all the different facets of your life, but also as a mom, so that you can help them to learn these lessons that you're learning? Like, how do you show them, let's say, the way?
Yeah. God, that's been another journey in itself as well. Um, I try to show that. So I think kids won't do what you say, kids will do what you do.
Yeah.
It's my take on parenthood. So I think if you model to them what's healthy, that's probably the only real way that they'll engage with those lessons later in life. So I try to model self-regulation in front of them as a big thing. So I was very fiery and I was very somebody who was triggered easily and would fly off the handle. I'm proud to say I'm not so much anymore. I mean, it's still
Okay.
there. She's still there, but but now I can self-regulate a lot faster. So, for example, if something goes wrong in the household and it's just the perfect storm, we'll call it, where everyone's all over the place. If I fly off the handle for whatever reason, I self-regulate very quickly and I bring them back and apologize to them for it. I think that's a massive piece for parents to acknowledge when and be accountable for when, because we're human, right? We're going to fly off the handle. There's no two ways about it. There's a lot of pressure on us as parents. But I think, yeah, being accountable for your actions in front of them, I think is really powerful. I think it sends a really powerful message. And if that's the only thing that one can do as a parent, I would say, yeah, that's probably it. That's what I try to practice anyway. And I'll say it again, I'm not a perfect parent. I'm very far from it. I don't get it right all the time. But when I don't get it right, I will make myself accountable for it.
Well, we're all learning anyway. It's just literally our children are just there for us to learn with them and do the best we
Yeah.
can. But I think
Mm,
it's so important what you're saying about apologizing, because we're teaching them
mm,
to that, we can make mistakes and it's okay to make mistakes. Just own up to it. And even in
mm,
that, there's so much strength that you own up for your
mm,
mistakes and then see how can I learn and what I can do better, next time
mm,
if I'm something in the same situation. I think that's such a powerful message that you're showing your
mm.
children. Another thing I
Yeah,
wanted to
it's
explore
good.
with you, and being the beginning of the year, everybody's setting goals and resolutions, so on and so forth. And your take has been like, it's winter time, let's take it easy.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that? Can you explain about it?
Yeah, I suppose the former Hillary, the old Hillary I would have always set New Year's resolutions and I would
Yeah.
have always set really lofty goals. Goals that were so lofty they were outside of my control, even, and inevitably some of those, maybe I might reach one or two, but inevitably the rest I wouldn't reach, and then it was massive disappointment. And that was kind of like my pattern of boom bust. It was the big effort and then the burnout. And nervous system regulation teaches you to just, chip away at that over a couple of years, and that's really important. Now, I think it was around 2020, I stopped setting New Year's resolutions for myself because I kind of felt this instinctively before I started to explore it and explore the reasons why I was feeling that way. And part of it is December 21st is winter solstice, and that's the part of the Celtic calendar, but it's part of many other calendars as well. And so that winter solstice is the beginning of winter. It's the dark period. And that goes on till February 1st, what we call Imbolc in Ireland. And Imbolc literally means in the belly of the mother. So during that period, you have been in the belly of the mother. It's the dark, dark, fertile period. And it just felt wrong to me to be setting these massive intentions and trying to push your energy forward on January 1st when you're still in the dark. The seed is still underground. It hasn't sprouted yet. So I felt that it was a time that we need to kind of snuggle down and rest and take care of ourselves. All those intentions can be set a little bit later on when we're emerging from winter, i.e. the 1st of February. That's the true springtime. That's when the seeds start to sprout. So I started to kind of do that innately back in 2020 when I had this deep calling to be back in nature. So I just feel like she was influencing me so much. And then I figured out the rest later that, oh, that's why I wanted to do that. So I think it's really powerful. It's this liminal space where we can dream up what we want the year to be. It doesn't have to be set on January 1st. We have a whole period of time where we can reflect back on the year gone, and dream up what we want the incoming year to be, but we don't have to act on it just yet. The natural energy, when the sun comes back, the natural energy will start to propel us forward around February 1st. That's the time to take action on all those intentions.
Yeah, no, I love it, and you put it so well. So definitely something for the listeners to be thinking about, some food for thought, because I suppose all the different learnings that we get from different people, as we try them out for ourselves, because we're so different, we're so, and at the same time, so unique, different things can resonate with us. And I always learn to be curious, to continue being curious about different things so I can help my body in different ways and keep my body looking for, I'm not saying solution, but it's kind of solution, but how it feeds it or how it feels nourished and kind and cared for, because I felt that for years it was completely different. It was just like bah, 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 bah. The push,
Yeah.
push, 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 push. And then you're like, okay, slow down, because like yourself, my body went. And then again,
Mm.
relearn
Mm.
and catching myself when that pattern goes, you know. So yeah, I really took this year, I've been following a lot of your things. And then one of the things like, yeah, why am I rushing? Just take it easy. It's okay to be
Take it
cuddled
easy.
in. Hibernate.
Yeah. And what's the rush? Like that was something I came to recently. It's like, what's the rush? Where's the finish line? Why are we rushing towards this imaginary finish line that we've set ourselves? Like, what is the finish line? No, this is it. This is the good stuff. This is life. And there are peaks and troughs. And there are times when you'll be kind of riding high and things will go well, and other times where you have to just kind of pause and recoup. And if your health is one of those things, it's so important to listen to that.
Yeah. You talk about the art of showing up for yourself. Can you expound on
Mm.
that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so this is a really exciting body of work that I am developing and will be bringing publicly very soon. I'm treating it as this living body of work, so it's growing and developing and shaping all the time. And one of the pillars of that is what I talked about in the TED Talks. It was all about rest and using rest as strategy. So the art of showing up is the art of showing up for yourself. It's not really performance based. It's not really as an actor, but it is taking all the things that I learned as an actor because, as I say, if you can't show up, if you're shut down.
Mm.
So underneath this big body of work is really about nervous system regulation, but also about consciously slowing down and consciously making decisions that are right for you on a daily basis. So, like you said, if you're rushing to a finish line, you can't make clear, conscious decisions about what you, your body, your family, your
Yeah.
work needs.
Yeah.
So it's really about slowing down into the rhythm of life and analyzing every single aspect of your life and seeing, is it working right for you or not? So that is the art of showing up for yourself.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to be linking your TEDx to the show notes as well. It's a fabulous
Thank you.
talk. Thank you very much for giving it. And all my listeners, I think we really appreciate this talk. One of the things that you did, and I think if you can talk about it a little bit, was about boiling the kettle. Can you talk about that analogy?
Oh, yeah. That was so lovely how that came about. It came about in the development of the talk. I'd never really intended to put it in there, and then it became this
Okay.
kind of focal piece. And I suppose the TEDx is called Why Rest is Not Lazy. So it's rest versus resilience. And I wanted to challenge the notion of resilience. I think the word resilience is really overused at the moment. It's in our homes, our workplaces, in schools, it's everywhere. And the general consensus around the word resilience is about making people have more capacity,
Mm.
which I don't think is right. It never sat right with me. And instead of like looking at people and saying, what's wrong with them? Why can't they cope? It's better and more healthy, more appropriate for us to look at the systems that they're in and to understand that those systems aren't built for human well-being. So that was really the piece around rest versus resilience. And then I thought, well, sometimes in the wellness industry, there are so many offerings. It can be even more stressful trying to engage in the offerings. Do I have to do breath work? Do I have to do cold plunges? Do I have to walk in the woods? They're all amazing, and I do those things. But sometimes they're like a little plaster on the wound. It's like a little plaster on a gunshot wound. And I think you need to look a little bit deeper.
Mm.
And so I thought, what's one tool that I could give people that they could engage with every day that they're going to be doing every day anyway? I thought, well, they're going to be having a cup of tea at some point every day, or maybe not tea, coffee, whatever it is, but they have to at least imbibe something, whether it's food or a drink, a hot drink, right? In whatever environment they're in. So that bit about my step-by-step guide, how
Yeah.
to slow down and how to regulate your nervous system. Step one was boil the kettle. Step two was make a cup of tea. And step three was to sit down. So it's not this complicated, overwhelming thing. It's about consciously slowing down with a cup of tea and not sitting down and scrolling on your phone, but consciously breathe, hold the tea, the cup is warm. What does that feel like? And it's really about mindfulness, bringing, coming out of the head and coming into the body.
Yeah. And I think it's such an easy way of the way you put it, it was so easy and so adaptable as in anybody can try this and just give
Mm,
yourself those few minutes, as the tea is just brewing there, just sit down,
yeah.
feel it, be present. I think so much of our times we can spend being occupied outside that we don't allow ourselves to come inward. And it's somewhat of fear of going inward, of like, ooh, let's leave that alone. But
Mm,
there's so much discovery when we allow ourselves to pause. And I see a
mm,
lot with the phones, people are just constantly like I literally count when I'm out seeing how many people are on the phone as they're waiting for their bus, or, there's no more
mm.
conversations. You don't talk to people
I
anymore. So
know.
it's like those small things that we're missing, but that's a friendship. That's something that would be completely different in our lives if we just allowed ourselves to put that down or slow down, have that cup of tea for
Yeah,
ourselves, isn't it?
yeah, or with somebody else as well. It's even nicer,
Yeah.
just to sit, put the phones away, have a cup of tea, have a face-to-face chat. Like you said, I think that's kind of missing. It's missing. It's disappearing out of our culture very fast now.
Yeah. And it's hard for even our children coming up seeing this. That's just the norm.
Yeah,
Everybody carrying a phone is the norm. And like, gosh, I remember when I was a kid, we're playing outside. I would just be the whole time, with
yeah.
rocks and whatnot. And it was like amazing imagination. And now it's called counter, forget the word.
Mm.
Anyway. It's not the way that the world goes about it. But
Yeah. Mm.
what would you be telling people aside from making your tea for sure and calm yourself down? But what would be something to help them right now? If you had one piece of advice for them to start, the listener right now, what would it be?
Hmm. Something I like to ask myself. We talk about New Year's resolutions and not making them, but there's one question that I consistently ask myself, and it's part of a New Year's resolution, but I do it every single day consistently, and it is, what do I need right now? That's
Mm,
it. Ask yourself the question, what do I need right now? And that can look different for everybody. It can be, you know what, I really need a walk in the woods.
mm.
You know what, I need to put the phone down. You know what, I need to pick the phone up and make a phone call. I need to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's a, yeah, it's a one size fits all. What do I need right now?
And is that pause, which is
Mm,
so important. You're literally pausing and you're talking to yourself because I think it's so easy for us to berate ourselves for things instead of
hmm
asking ourselves for things. So that I
mm,
usually say that differently. What do you need right now, Michele? And I say my name
mm.
so I can feel okay, I'm tuning into myself. And a lot of times it's rest or stop or, get yourself some water, small things. And we know intuitively what we need, but we just don't connect with it. So that's such a powerful message.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. And it's true, especially the water thing. What do I need like now? I need water. I haven't drank water in a whole day. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry I wasn't listening to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's
it's
important.
yeah, absolutely. And I think all of this, that what you're changing right now with your message, it is changing the um, way people connect with themselves in a much profound way. And it's also helping them to not just rush into life, but appreciate life by taking the pause, by resetting the nervous system. So I think it's such a powerful work and the art of showing up for yourself. I love that, the art, because it is an art. It's something
It's an
we
art. Yeah, and it's big giving people permission as well.
Mm,
Not that anyone needs permission to do this work, but it's sometimes you feel like you do need permission. So to anyone listening to this podcast, this is your permission slip to slow down.
yes, indeed it is. And I think it's such a powerful message. And again, I'm so grateful to have you here, Hilary, and for all the work that
Pleasure.
you've been doing as well, for taking your time then here. But you're changing, you're opening the conversation, you're being, it takes vulnerability to share our stories, and most of all, our problems, let's say, our health challenges, and so on and so forth. But I think it's such bravery when we do that because it does give permission for other people to feel seen and to feel understood and like they're not alone. So I want to thank you for
Mhm.
that. It's so
Mm.
important.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And what's the best way people can connect with you?
Right now, you could find me on LinkedIn or you can find me on Instagram. I have a website that's under construction and I'm going to take my time with that. The
Okay.
part of the slowing down process as well. Yeah, I'm going to take my time with it and just get it right. So LinkedIn or Instagram, you can message me there.
Perfect. I will include that in the show notes as well.
Thank
And
you.
what's one parting word that you would like to leave us with?
A parting word.
Yeah, yeah, word or sentence could be.
Ah, hmm. Yeah, I'm going to say it again, actually. You can't show up for yourself if you're shut down.
Yeah,
Mm.
you can't show up for yourself if you're shut down. Yes,
Mhm.
indeed. That's so true. We'll ponder on that one. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to show up for ourselves. We definitely do. We deserve that. So opening up
Yeah, and I think
ourselves.
if you don't show up for yourself, it's very, very hard to show up for other people in your life as well. And you know this as a mom, you need to take care of yourself so you can care for others. So
Yeah.
that's been a big part of my own personal journey is actually showing up consistently for myself. And that naturally just had a knock-on effect to those around me then. So that was good.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it does. That's exactly it. We're not an island and everything we do affect other people. So we do the good stuff will affect other people in the good way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's do more
Absolutely.
of that. Hilary,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time. And for all
Pleasure.
those listening, please go back, and I'm going to be linking also her TEDx talk. I would love for you to hear it and pass it on to other people as well. And once again, thanks for being here, and may God bless and keep you, and see you next week. Bye for now.
This was the Michele Roy Show.